This meeting is being recorded.
Hi, everyone. We're so delighted that you are with us tonight for our second family landing pad. This is our opportunity to have our own space as parents and caregivers of our young people to talk about what it's like to provide our guardianship, to love on these young people inside of the pandemic, because we are still inside of the pandemic, but we are here and we are grateful that we have this opportunity. So thank you to the San Leandro Unified School District for sponsoring this and for powering this as a place for our parent and caregiver community to come together. My name is Franklin. I'm usually here with Gingy, but tonight our little ones have a cold, and so she has a cold, and we're grateful that it is just a cold. We together operate the Blaze Consulting Group, which is a consulting group that serves and supports leaders throughout the state of California, but is based right here in San Leandro. And the Blaze Consulting Group, we bring together teams and individuals to do good work in the world. And part of that work is to sit with parents and to create a space where we can be real with one another as we talk about this important topic. And so you can find out more information about us just by Googling Blaze Consulting Group. Tonight we have our agreements, which is to mute yourself when you are not speaking, to place comments in the chat box, as well as you can raise your hand. We ask you to try on the process, which means that as we give you activities, this process works best if people are talking and laughing and telling how they feel and what they believe in a way that is respectful. But we also recognize that that's not always how you come in feeling, and so you have the right to pass. And of course, we want to be open and be respectful, understanding that one of the things that I love about the San Leandro Family Learning Pad is we are from all backgrounds of many kinds and bring many identities into this room. And somehow we have a beautiful conversation every 2 weeks that allows us to grow and have stronger relationships with each other, with our children, with our school sites. I want to thank our interpreters tonight, right before we get started, and Mr. James Parrish, who's from the school district as well. And so you can text them if you have any questions as well tonight as we go through today's session. All right. So tonight we want you to take a moment for yourself. This is a virtual space for you to talk about your own experience. So reflect, retreat, and receive support. So let's fire up the chat blast. How about we do that first? So for the chat, I want to know, what is your family's favorite food? What is your family's favorite food? And we could put that could be something you cook or somewhere where you go out to eat. Or maybe you have one dish one time in your life and everybody agreed this was the best thing ever. So put it in the chat. Oh, yes. Paulette said lasagna, cheesy lasagna, rigatonis, ribs curry, Mexican street Mexican street tacos. Look at this, Japanese tacos. Then my family's favorite food is salmon, ribs, and fried chicken. Sounds great. Joe's Fuzz satisfies everyone in our house. Shake Shack, where is that? I don't even know where the Shake Shack is. Japanese, Chinese, Korean, all kind. Is the Shake Shack now in town?
No, it's actually in Larkspur.
It's where?
Larkspur, across the Richmond Bridge.
Larkspur, okay. All right. Thank you, Erica. What else do we have? Okay.
I didn't know that. I was close.
Say it again.
Someone said there's a Shake Shack in Oakland.
Oh, there's a Shake Shack in downtown Oakland now. Okay. And then for the person who wrote about Afghani,
Let's talk. What do you want to talk about right now, dear?
will you tell me how to pronounce that and all of us?
Yeah, Afghani kabli palau.
Nice. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Bonchon is a hit. Am I pronouncing that right, Desiree?
It's Bonchon.
Bonchon, thank you. This is amazing. All right, folks. There's a lot of good food there tonight. Because what? Who doesn't like to have a good meal? Likes to eat as well. I make a pretty mean steak, my family tells me. So, you know, my family goes crazy over my steak and potatoes. So if you ever want to hire me as your personal chef for a night, I got you. All right. So tonight, we want to celebrate that we've made it through the first month of school. Let's give it up. Go into your emoticons, maybe click the celebration emoji or come on, Cap. There you go. Neil, give yourself props. We made it right. We made it through the first month, Yvonne. Yep. There you go, Monica. There's the celebration. So 1 month down, and we are here. And the truth is that, you know, while we've made it through this and we've managed this, and we thought like a month ago, we thought, I don't know about you all, but so many of us thought, wow, how are we going to go back to in-person learning? How will this look? We cautiously sent our babies out the door and pushed them, peeking through our eyes. Some of us may still be going right up to the very gates of the campus, wishing that we could go in to the school. I think for my kids go to Bancroft. I've been a helicopter parent for the past 6 years of school, and now they're at a school that I've never put my own foot in past the front door. It's very strange. I'm just sending them to Miss Joanna. So, I just trust that they're not, you know, I had this image last year when we went to hybrid learning that, you know, my son was like going into Bancroft and then they were just partying with the teenagers because they weren't letting us in. So I just pictured like, it could be anything, it could be any kind of party going on and having a good time. But I know there was learning taking place. And so now we're all making it through this uncertainty. And I want to chat with you for a moment and really for about 20 minutes, actually, about how are you doing this? How are you doing this? How are you getting those kids to school every day? How are you managing the uncertainty? What's working? You know, so often we talk about what's not working in our space, but I want to ask you a question. What are you doing? And then, do you have a family routine?
Join the meeting.
Great.
I do.
Yvonne, take a little time and tell us what is your routine at your house that supports your ability to do this?
Well, for the kids, this is my first year on San Leandro High. I moved my kids from OMI because I think that they were not focusing anymore in that school.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was a really good change because now that I changed them, it's more close to us, and then my kids are excited to be there. Like they wake up early in the morning. Before I used to like be like, I have to have like a really raise my voice so they could get up. Now
Yep.
it's just like I call them and they wake up really, really fast and they get ready. They walk to school because they don't want me to take them to school. And our routine is wake up at 6:30, get ready. I work I just work Tuesday and Thursday, so they help me on Tuesday and Thursdays, and I help them on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Oh, that's cool.
And we get breakfast early in the morning, and then they go to school. And then I always talk to them all the time, like even since they were in kindergarten, I have been talking to them, like whatever things that going on in school, I talk to them, they talk to me. And I think having a good communication with them, it's very helpful to be involved in school.
Uh-huh. That's great. How many kids do you have at San Leandro High?
I have to a 10th grade and a 12th grade.
Oh, you're almost done with one. That's cool. That's cool. So I love what you're saying. So like at the very basic, it's communication. I talk to them. I talk to them and I talk to them and I talk to them, right? And I do
Yes.
the same thing. We have a high schooler and I just, if I can capture her in the car, then I just talk to her. Because you can't go anywhere, right? I just leave the radio off and let's talk. So thank you for sharing that. How about someone else? What are you doing that makes this happen? It's been a month. So for people just joining us, we've talked about how before it's been a month that the young people have been in schools, and a month ago we were nervous. We didn't know if we could do it. We didn't know if we could handle it. And so now that it's been a month, you've done it. So pat yourself on the back and let's talk about what are we doing that works? What are we doing that, what do you do? Do you have a routine? If so, what are the routines? I'd love to hear from at least, now we've heard from a high school parent, someone who has middle schoolers, and then someone who has elementary school age students. Neil, am I saying it right? Or is it
Oh,
Neil?
it's Nelly. I think I forgot to add the Y.
And my eyes are bad, so then I
No, I think it just says Nell. I think when I type my name, I forgot to add that Y. I have a kindergarten and he's in special ed.
uh-huh.
And so every morning I go through his backpack and let him know what we packed. We're like, Trent, here are your extra clothes. You know, if something happens, here are your extra clothes. Here's your Band-Aid. Here's your chapstick. Here's your mask. Here's your lunch. Don't forget to eat your lunch here. I mean, like, I just make sure that we do this every day. It's the same stuff every day, but I just want him to remember, like, just to know your extra mask is here, your lunch is here, your snack is this. And I think he gets it. And so I'm confident that, that he'll know, and I've let his teacher know as well. We pack extra clothes. He's a picky eater. He won't eat the cafeteria food. He's bringing his own food. I know that they have extra masks, but it's like, Trent, you may not even ask for an extra mask. So it's already there. So I think it's just going over the stuff that he's taking into school. That's helpful in getting us ready in the morning.
That's great. Can we just give some hearts and some celebrations for Nelly for just acknowledging, like, you're doing it. You are doing it as a parent, and to sit there and pack that backpack every day, and then to come right back and walk your baby through that backpack, so that they practice what's in the backpack. They are rehearsing what is there and what they want to use. They're visioning how they might use it throughout the day, and you're helping walk them through that. I think is a splendid and fantastic parenting move. All right, so thank you so much, Nelly. And so now we've heard from a high school. Oh, look, I don't know if, Nelly, you see the chat, but people are giving you love in the chat as well. So we've heard from a high school parent and an elementary school parent. I wonder if someone with a middle school student would be willing to share with us.
I do have a middle school and elementary. So I have two boys, Wilson and John Muir. They are next to each other. So kind of like Nelly, my kids don't like the school meals, so I have to wake up early at 6 o'clock and prepare lunch for them to bring to school. And then for my oldest one, my husband will drive him to school because he has a 0 period. And for my youngest one, I walk him to school every single day. So so that's how we do it.
Can you share a little bit about your evening routine as well?
Like what do you mean? Like
How do you do homework time, or do you make them go to bed at a certain time?
Yes,
Like
yes.
in middle school, is there still a bedtime in middle school?
Yes, I still make my middle school, my eighth grader to go school by 9. So they have to do every single thing before 9 o'clock. It doesn't mean they will have to sleep right away at 9,
Yeah.
but they have to get everything ready and go to bed. So I still give him the routine. I think it's very important, for this age still, sleeping is important. So I don't care what he does. As soon as by like 8:30, I will have them, do the routines like brush the teeth, finish bath by that time, and homework. And homework, even homework, they finish it by that time. Yeah. So.
All right. Let's give a thumbs up if you still do a bedtime for your middle and high school students. If you're still doing like an actual bed. Okay. All right. Very good. Okay. Okay. So quite a few of you that still do a bedtime. All right. That's helpful. I have a 6th and 7th grader, so I need this advice. Keep them on the bedtime. Keep them on the bedtime. All right. I have a friend who turns off all the Wi-Fi in the house at 10 o'clock. They just shut the Wi-Fi down so that all these tablets and so forth don't work anymore. So I don't know if other people use that as a strategy as well for the electronics side of things. All right. This continues to be great. Let me look in the chat window, because I think there's some things I'm seeing fly past me on my second screen. Oh, we just started doing a reward chart with stars and to see if it works for us, I think is what you're saying. So Monica, can you tell me a little bit about your rewards chart? I think might be a help for other people to know how you all do it and how often you kind of go to the chart.
Okay, hi. Oh, sorry, let me. Okay, bear with me. I'm a little messy house too, but we just started this. I'm just gonna.
Oh, you're gonna show us?
Yeah, I'll show you.
That's
So
exciting.
we literally just started it, and it just has, like we pick out the things that we want him to focus on. He's a kindergartner. So this is our first run at kindergarten. We've been doing daycare. But yeah, it's different with kindergarten. So we're just getting it started, and if he
who calls out the tasks, and who gets to put the reward up? Hi, little one. Hey.
So we've decided to pick the tasks ourselves, and that might change as needed, depending upon what we find is needed. And there's a lot of different little categories, or you can write your own. And he gets to put his star on the board. So it's kind of like a little bit of a reward for him on doing the star on the board.
Yeah, I bet it is. That's super cool. That's super cool. Thank you for sharing that. And let's just check with the gallery. Does anybody, if you have like a question for Monica or others, it looks like maybe Nelly also does a reward chart or has done it. All right, so let's give some celebrations and thumbs up for Monica, who's using the reward chart, right? So let's stay connected. That's awesome. That's awesome. I wonder if there's like an age where they just transition, but I know that the goal would be that they would go from, the goal would be that they go from it being an extrinsic award to an intrinsic motivation, right? So now I just do the task because they're the tasks that I want to do to keep a good habit and keep myself well and ready. So that's helpful. Is there anyone else from older elementary school? Anybody with like third, fourth, or fifth grader that wants to share a little bit about how they're doing it? Monica, lots of love going out to you in the chat. All right, any other high schoolers? Any other middle schoolers? All right. Okay. So then let me pivot a little bit and talk a little bit about wellness, right? So what are the things, so we talked about getting our kids to school and routines that get us, our kids to bed. What might you do to make sure that you have mental and physical wellness that you're willing to share tonight? Right? What are we doing for mental and physical wellness? Emerald, please share. Desiree, after that.
Hello. So for me today specifically, just a little background fast update. I actually caught COVID a couple of weeks back and was off work. The kids were home for school and daycare for 2 weeks straight. And today we had to get back into the routine. I'm better, but now he's got to go to school and it's a half day, but it's usually my off day. And I usually swim today as a stress reliever. But what I actually did was went and got a mani-pedi. And I fell asleep in the chair quite a few times, but but it gave me my moment.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. My moment. That's great. My moment. Come on, Desiree, will you share?
Yeah, I'll turn my on too. Hi. So I have an elementary school student and a high school student, and we also have routines too, and they both have bedtimes, different times, because they're different ages. But one of the things that we do every night at dinner is that we do a share of the day. So we want to go through all of their, from the time they started school to the time they came home, because my husband works as well, so he's out of the house during the day. So this gives us a chance to kind of catch up and kind of go through each of their days with them. And it's really nice because we have their schedule, but they go through like first period I did this, second period I did this, third period, and we kind of ask some questions about each of their periods. What did you like about today's lesson, or what was your morning circle of the day for the elementary school students? Yep. So it's kind of nice to get feedback from them, and then they hear our feedback to them as well. So it's really nice. And then they ask us too, how was your day at work? What did you do today? So we all share, and it's a nice night.
That's really cool. And it's really cool to hear that it's taking place at dinner time. I actually was just hearing this morning that when we do sit down to dinner together, one of the gifts of the pandemic is dinner has gotten 15 minutes longer in America. Sitting down to dinner has gotten 15 minutes longer when we do it during the pandemic. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. Like, keep talking. It's like Yvonne was saying this as well. Talk to them, talk to them, talk to them. And now you've added to that a structured way to talk, so that we don't, what I like about that is it kind of takes it might feel awkward at first, but then you just know what you're doing. They come to expect it. They know you're going to ask them the question, right?
Absolutely.
Yep. Someone said, oh, okay. There you go. I see what people are saying. Someone's talking about swimming and go walking at the marina. iPhone Lana, do you want to share?
So I have 6 children, and so
Okay, let's just pause. Okay,
yeah.
no, I'm joking. I'm just kidding.
So I have 5 boys and 1 girl, but they're so active. So after my 2 older one, they just graduated this past year.
Uh-huh.
And so the rest, there are 3 now in high school and 1 in middle school, but they are always full of energy. So when they're in my car, there's no cell phone. And so that's my rule. There's no cell phone in my car. And there is, look out the window and see what you can find. It's interesting, and pay attention to your surrounding. That's what I do. That's my routine with them. But every morning when we get into the car, it's like, oh, we gotta say prayer. I don't know, like, but that's me. That's just my rule. And so, oh, we gotta do our prayer first before we go throughout the day. And after I drop them off, then it's my me time. I'm gonna go now to the marina, and I'm gonna walk and just take a breath of fresh air and get myself ready for work and the rest of the day. So that's what I do for my kids and for myself and for my sanity.
Nice. That's really,
Yeah.
and thank you for sharing that. And what I am gathering from that is that by having a moment of prayer or a moment of meditation, or however you choose to be still and to recognize, like, greater than me or greater than us, or even the interconnectedness of what you see, that allows us to enter into the school day with less stress and more focus.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? I wonder, for you, was that a negotiation around the phones, or how do you manage when they are not happy with that rule?
Well, it's my car. I pay the bills. I pay for their phone bills too. So I tell them, it's my rule going. So, but it's just a few moments that they have that chance, and it's my chance with them too before they go into their own, school time. So that is just my rule. I don't know when they get into the dad's car. I don't know what he does, but in my car, that's what I do. I said, okay, phones off, and it's your me time with me. So when they're in there, they already know. And so we either can sing a song, but nobody's on the phone, no phone at all. So that's what we do. It's going so well so far because, they're teenagers and they're so sneaky and they want to be on their phone constantly. But I just tell them, this is the me time with you guys. So we do that. That's what we do. So it works out really good. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but what I heard at the very end is you say that you set an intention. It's about us. It's about us spending time together.
Yep.
And so it's not just about you making a rule just so there's a rule, but it's about me time with you. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you.
And I see some folks saying I agree. One person said I feel tired with just one. You have the 6, but that's a beautiful thing. So walking at the marina becomes a radical act of self-care. And so I wonder what else folks are doing for self-care, because you've done it for the past month. There's something that's working.
I can share a little bit.
Yeah, come on.
After I drop off my youngest one, I actually come back to the house, and since I have a really long driveway and a really big backyard, what I do is I just do exercise in my backyard and take care of the garden. So that gives me some sanity. So it really works for me.
Yeah, thank you. When I grow up, I want to be like you and have a garden. Absolutely. Desiree says we have a rule for no electronics on the weekend. I want the kids to go outside and socialize, use their imaginations and play. Desiree, you have to tell us how that went in terms of introducing that. Are you able to share?
Yeah, so it was not well received at first.
Yeah.
Because the kids, that's what they want to do, right? They just want to play electronics all day long. But so my husband, he's an optician, so we try and talk to them about the eye strain on their eyes and the blue light. And so kids, they don't realize, what kind of damage they're doing to themselves being on electronics with the blue light. And so we try and let them know that, we're doing this for you. We're not saying that you can't have electronics at all. You can do it, in moderation during the weekdays, but on the weekends, we want you to go out and have fun, make friends and play outside, use your imaginations. And so we try and schedule things for them to do as well so that they're able to use that imagination. So we do field trips, and so the kids have gotten to the point where they're now saying, so what are we doing this weekend?
Great,
That's
thank you.
good. That's
Go
good.
ahead.
I like that. Sorry to cut y'all off, but I like that concept because I was gonna ask, do you let them use it during the week? Because I don't let my son play during the week, but I'll let him have the weekend to play. But I do want to start implementing more like real life interactions so they can have more social skills and build the social skills with other kids, which
Uh-oh. Kamiko, we're losing you for a second. You might have to go back 20 seconds.
Like,
You didn't catch up. Kamiko, we're not catching a thing you're saying, so we'll come back to you while you pull it together. It's all good. You know how Zoom is. And then Desiree, I sent you a message. Maybe your
I saw.
Desiree, maybe your husband would be willing to come and talk about ice cream on this platform.
Parks
That
are
would be so
iffy and
Uh-oh.
that type of thing. So what kind of activities do you do for them? Like,
So we try and find things that are like either free or low cost things to
sorry.
do.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. So we try and do things that are free or that are low cost. Things that like Home Depot, they offer skills workshops for kids.
Yes.
Michael's also has like free workshops for kids. You purchase the supplies and they furnish the instruction. So we try and do things like that. We've gone out to museums. We do field trips to like the aquarium, things like that. So I also started teaching them how to play things that we used to play as kids, right? Cat's cradle, jacks, Chinese jump rope. And so it's kind of fun watching them try and work on these large motor skills. It's because it's not something that they've done in the past. Jacks is really fun because they can't. They have to learn how to work their small motor skills, right? And hand-eye coordination and having to pick out groups when they see things, when they see the jacks thrown across the floor. So we start them off on small things and into larger things. And I did see what you asked about the eye strain and the blue light. So my husband doesn't get home till later at night, but I could probably provide a few things about macular degeneration and how blue light disrupts your sleep patterns and makes you irritable. We used to have.
I'll put my email in the chat, and then would love some resource. And if anyone else even is connected to a resource, one of the things that we could do in this space, like we get to create this space as we want it to be. And so one of the things we could do is we can invite someone to come talk to us about the blue light and you have to say that again.
Macular degeneration.
The macular degeneration that is connected to that. So just keep your ears to the ground if you have that kind of resource. Also, just want to invite people to the extent that you can be on camera. We are loving it. If you can't, we also understand that's not always possible, but it makes for a dynamic experience for everybody involved. So that's really cool. Let me share with you a couple of thoughts that we had just to add to the conversation that has been so fruitful and so meaningful tonight. This one poet is offering, be mindful of intention. Oh, this is Jack Cornfield. Okay. Be mindful of intention. Intention is the seed that creates our future. And so one of the things I know, I've worked at in after school programming for over 10 years. And one thing I know about routines is that the routines that we set early in the school year are the ones that that we continue to follow throughout the year. It becomes that much more harder once you get into even not having a routine to then try to bring one in November or in February, right? And so for those of us who said, yeah, I do a bedtime routine, starting that off earlier in the year has a better chance of success that they'll hold it all the way to May and June. And so you get to identify those routines that are for you, that are for your family, that are both going to get the job done of getting to school and getting them back in the house and to bed. But also, I'm inviting tonight, what are your routines around health and wellness, mental health and wellness, and those that you take on together? Okay, I'm gonna have to read that in just a second. And then we want to invite you to think about it in 3 ways. 1, make time, make a plan, and then prioritize, right? So how do we establish that, like iPhone Lotta, that our family time is a priority, that getting off of those phones is a priority because it's not about the phones, it's about us and how we be together. So 6 bullets for you all. 1, take me time. So often I know that I hear parents say, I can't take the time. But I promise you that if you take the time, the same dishes, the same homework time will be waiting for you. But you will have come to that homework time or those dishes a lot more centered and maybe even rejuvenated. So prioritize your me time. And one of the things I'll say with my coaching hat on is study yourself. How long can you go before you crash? How long? People have different gas tanks. Some of us could go 2 weeks hard, day after day after day after day, and then we crash. That means that I can't get out of the bed, or my brain is foggy, or I literally get sick, right? We crash 2 weeks out. Then some of us need to refill our gas tanks every day. I'm one of those folks. I have to have time every single day that's not about taking care of anyone else but me, right? And so that allows me to be nerd, and in that space, I can be nerdy in my books, reading, watching informational YouTube videos and corny YouTube videos no one else wants to watch, but that's my time, and I get to do with it as I wish. So you study yourself. This is a coaching goal. Study yourself. How many days can you go before you need that break? If you think you know, put it in the chat with me right now, whether you're on camera or off camera. Have you studied yourself? How long can you go before you need that break, or you might even crash? Oh, okay. Monica says day 4. I know if you feel like it's too personal, I get it, right? And then every week, 1 week. Yeah, see, it's good. Study yourself. Check that out and see how far you can go. Yeah. And by the way, when I say how far you can go, there's no value if you can go long or short. It's not like some badge of honor. I could go 6 weeks, you know. It's just is what it is, right? So also let's for that piece of us that wants to be like this super human parent, we get to take our cape off. We don't have to be that. For those of us that need to recharge every day, that's fine. For those of us who can go 2 weeks, that's fine, right? We want you to nurture adult relationships. We're offering that tonight. So not, having adults that you can interact with. I remember this when I had kindergarten and preschool kids, and then I get around adults and we'd be like so happy to talk to a grown up when we had those younger kids. And so we continue to nurture adult relationships. We continue to nurture relationships with each kid separately. If you have multiple kids, understanding that they're not exactly alike. And so do you have can you spend one-on-one time with them? Maybe once a week. So maybe one, you go to the marina. The other, you go to, I don't know where the older kids will go now that we're in phone land, but maybe, out to Bayfair? I don't know. But spend one-on-one time with your babies. And then these are 3 things we do very regularly with our kids. This is not science, it's our family experience. But we do a homework check every Tuesday and Thursday so that the kids, as they, vacillate on, oh, I don't have any homework. Oh, yes, I do. Now I have to rush and get it all done. Like that's very real in my house. My kids, they wane on if they feel like the homework or not, but they know Tuesday and Thursday we're coming for them. So that's just going to happen, and it slows way down. And we're in Aries, and we're in Schoology, and we're trying to figure it out with them. We also have a weekly family meeting. That's obviously a place where people are able, there's kids and the adults, and we have grandma in our house, are able to talk about, any and everything. But it is the business of the family and the business of keeping the house. And then we have family game nights. And it's just, who is that shared? Oh, Desiree, about teaching the old games. I tried to teach my kids how to play spades, and I just have to get my patience together while they learn how to play cards, because I want them just to get it. We teach the old games, and then we bring in some of the new games. So family game nights are priceless. So what will you try? A lot of suggestions have been given tonight. Excuse me. So put in the chat or unmute yourself. Of all the things you've heard over the past 40 minutes, what will you try? And I will, while you're doing that, go ahead, and I'm just going to conduct the raffle in the background, but I am right here with you. What will you try of all the things you heard tonight? Colleen, did you want to say something? I'm sorry.
Yes. Hi everybody.
What's up?
So I'm sorry, I got into like close to the middle of the meeting, but then I have a question, Mr. Franklin. Is this meeting is only for parents that have children that are attending school physically, or is it just or is it for every parents?
This is for parents and caregivers and grandmas and aunts and uncles of all ages.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not gonna complain because I only have one child.
Okay.
And my son is doing the independent study at home.
Oh,
and
okay.
Yes, he is, and he's doing perfectly fine. So what we do at home is that he knows that once he started school, is Monday through Friday, there is no games, no phones. TV will be on until at 8 o'clock at night. His alarm is already set at 8:30, starting to, to hit the bed, And then at 8:30 in the morning, his alarm goes off because independent study school starts at 9 o'clock every day now. So from right now, I really like that program. For my son, I speak only for my child. And why? Because of what is going on with the COVID-19. And I'm going to say this, Mr. Franklin, on my way to my doctor's appointment today, I live in San Leandro.
Okay.
And I live close by to the San Lorenzo High School. So I took that road that it's cut through where I get to East 14 going down to Hayward because my clinic or
tell
my
me
doctor.
what happened just because it's 5:53, so I'm right at the end.
Yeah. Okay. So when I passed by the San Lorenzo High School, at that time, I think the kids are starting going into school and stuff like that. So there's a grocery store or a liquor store right across from the school. And I've seen some of the kids are walking around over there that with no mask on. And on my way to my appointment, and I said to myself, how are this is monitoring because of what I've heard a lot is going on the news that there's a lot of kids are getting affected in the school and stuff like that. So when I got to my appointment, there were 4 other children. One kid collapsed right in front of the clinic just before I walked into my doctor's appointment.
Yeah.
I breathed.
So then what I would say.
So this is my thing. That's the reason why I suggested to have my son to be registered on the independent study because I don't feel like that is not working at all for me.
Great. And what I want to say to you is you made the choice you needed to make as the parent. And so I don't want you to feel, I hope in my platform, in my meeting, that you don't feel like there's any judgment. So I want to just respect that you are a parent and you made the choice you needed to make. And our platform that we have right here is for you as a parent to talk about what it's like for you as a parent, right? Without having a feel like, oh, I'm being judged. So lots of respect to you, okay? Only because it's 5:55, I'm gonna move on. That is the only reason, so just feel the love right now.
Okay.
I am going to conduct a raffle. Can we give it up for all the folks who participated in all the ways that we participated tonight? Tonight was incredible. And I also am acknowledging all those who were in our Spanish translation room and our Chinese translation room, because I know it's not always easy to get the information and the speaking back out to the main room. And I'm super glad that so many of you all shared your experience of parenting. I want to call out that next Tuesday, I believe it's at 5:30, James, it's the single parenting, single parent group. And so it's a space just like this. But last year, a group of parents said, can we have a space that talks about what it is like to be a single parent or to co-parent? And so they created a beautiful space where they can be real with each other, men and women and all gender expressions come together in that space and talk about that unique perspective. And then later in the year, we're going to be looking also at some other ways that we could look at it, including families who have kids with special needs. But next Tuesday at 5:30, look out for that on your parent square for the special needs group. I see James saying
yes. That's right. That's right. Next 5:30 next Tuesday.
Great. And so that'll be with Gingy and with Leslie Frisbee. And so that's that. And are there any questions before we raffle off for tonight? All right. Tonight, I just counted 10, 10, 10. And those people are